Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Happy Friday. I almost said happy Saturday. It kind of feels like a Saturday today. I don't know why. The weather is absolutely beautiful in Indianapolis. I think it was supposed to get up to 80 today. I'll look here in just a second and see what it was, but it's absolutely beautiful. It is currently, let's see what the time and temperature is. It is currently 5:46 p.m. on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Let's see what the temperature is. Yeah, it's supposed to get up to 80 today. Oh, it's 77. Oh, severe storm risk tonight. It is 77 degrees outside, and it says severe storm risk. There's a possible risk of a severe storm today. It does look like it's kind of starting to get a little bit dark outside. Does it say when it's supposed to happen? Let's see, hourly. It's not showing anything. Oh, 2 a.m. thunderstorms, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. thunderstorms. So I guess not till like 2 a.m. I'll be inside watching TV, so it won't matter. Actually, I've been outside a lot today, and I was thinking earlier, I was like, I might sit out here tonight and watch a show or something. I've got Matlock and Elsbeth to catch up on. Tonight is the finale of RuPaul's Drag Race, but Alex is going over to his friend's house, so we're going to watch that tomorrow. So yeah, he is going over to his girlfriend's house. It's like him and like 4 of his girlfriends. They're getting together and they're going to have like pizza and stuff, even though he just made this huge salad. I said, I thought you guys were getting pizza. He goes, well, we are, but I'm really hungry right now. And that probably won't be till like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So anyway, they're getting together and they are going to watch their favorite DJ sets that were at Coachella. So that's what they're doing tonight. He asked me if I wanted to go. I said, no, you go and have a good time. You go have a good time, raging and watching your favorite DJ sets, and I will be here watching Matlock and Elsbeth. There's actually like 4 new shows that I want to start, so I'm probably going to watch those tonight, and I also want to read a lot. He's waving at me from the kitchen right now as he is cleaning up his salad probably and putting stuff in the garbage disposal. So anyway, so yeah, I'm actually very, very excited about my evening. I woke up today and I wasn't really sure if I was going to film a lot today or not, and I ended up filming, I think I filmed 4, this was my 5th video that I filmed. So I feel like I've been really productive this week, and tomorrow, we don't have really any plans at all. We didn't have any plans for Easter, and then his aunt called him today and said that they're having like an Easter brunch on Sunday. So we're going over to Easter brunch at like 1 o'clock on Sunday at his aunt's house. So we won't be going to Cafe Patachou on Sunday. We won't be going over. The excitement of living in the suburbs, garbage disposals, and feeding the birds. So we won't be going to Cafe Patachou on Sunday, which is interesting because our server said, are you guys going to be in here next Sunday? And we didn't have any Easter plans yet. So we were like, yeah, probably. So she's like, well, it'll be completely empty. She's like, because people typically go where they can like get reservations and stuff like that. So anyway, so he said, do you want to go to Cafe Patachou tomorrow, Saturday, instead? I said, well, we can. I said, but I think I'm going to film videos tomorrow and probably on Sunday as well. So I'll probably film all through the weekend. I'm looking at my sad little bird feeder out here. It's sitting like in the grass. I haven't hung it in the tree yet, and I'll explain that in just a second. But I have it filled halfway with bird feed, and so I wanted the birds to eat from it. I know, I already know when I say that, people are going to be like, Peter, birds are not going to eat from a bird feeder on the ground. Well, I don't know that. Okay, I don't know what is in the mind of a bird, but I guess we'll find out. But anyway, I'm going to bring it in here and put it in the garage before I'm done for the night. But anyway, so Alex is going over to his girlfriend's house, and I'm actually really excited about my night. I'm going to take a nap. And I am going to put on comfy, cozy pajamas. Well, I'll take a shower after I take my nap, put on comfy, cozy pajamas, and then I am going to read tonight. I would really like to finish the 4th book in the Life as We Knew It series. Last night I actually read quite a bit of it. I read like 30 or 40 pages. I think I have, because I was like, if you read 50 pages, I had 150 pages left. Which is it's 288 pages, which means I was at like 130. I think I'm now at like 100. I have less than 100 pages. So I don't know, maybe I'll finish it tonight. And then I also read 3 chapters in the, I almost said if life were a game, these are the rules. I read 3 chapters in the, I made my Peterisms video about it yesterday. What's it called? Not Life's Little Instruction Book. I think I'm going to read that next. Everything I Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. That one. Is that what it's called? No. That's anyway, I talked about it. What was it that I just... Here, let's look it up. Richard Carlson is the guy's name. Why can't I remember that book? Richard Carlson. Books. Carlson. Books. No. Don't sweat the small stuff. My mom loved that book, Everything I Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten, too. Who wrote that book? Don't sweat the small stuff. That's what I'm reading right now. What's Everything I Needed to Know? Everything I Needed to Know. Here it is. Oh. Who wrote this one? Robert Fulghum. Do you guys remember that book? Anyway, so yes, so my night tonight is going to be nap, shower, cozy, comfy pajamas, read, watch TV shows, and relax. Very excited about my night tonight. I'm very, very excited about my night. So that's tonight. It is absolutely beautiful outside. I mean, it looks like it's gonna, if you look at the sky, it looks like it's gonna rain. But even, it's still, it feels like early summer out here. It's humid outside. It's warm. It's really nice. I wish every day was like this outside, even if it's not sunny. I don't care. It just feels like a really, really nice day. Tomorrow, my plan is to film videos tomorrow and Sunday as well, but I don't know if I'll be able to or not because we got this email yesterday, and then the guy that walks by, that's like I say is my my favorite neighbor, he and his wife. He is the alumni president to the HOA board, and so he was calling, like, I guess it's those two buildings over there, and we think it's those two buildings over there, but it's the three of us. So it's her, us, and them. Our buildings are the ones that are under reconstruction this year. And what I mean by under reconstruction is they, like this siding over here that I've shown you guys, where they tested it on the back of her garage to see if it needed new siding. They're either going to replace that siding or they're going to paint over it. I mean, I think they need to replace it, so they'll probably be replacing it. And then they paint it, and then they re-roof the buildings. So that's what I mean by reconstruction. They do it every like 6 or 7 years, which I was telling my neighbor today. We were talking about it. She goes, well, it's your HOA money going to good use. I was like, you're right, it is. So tomorrow, they sent out an email to the people that are getting it done. But then he called as well, and he said, hey, I just want to let you know they're coming out to power wash the buildings tomorrow. So tomorrow... And he was like, and we were really lucky too to get them to come out here this quickly. So, but anyway, so I guess I'm real thankful that they're coming out here. They came out here so quick. I don't know why they would arrange the painting and stuff if they couldn't get the power washers first, but I'm not in charge of that stuff. So, but tomorrow they're coming out here and they're power washing all the buildings, like the walls. I don't know why. Do you do that before you paint? I don't know what that's about. But anyway. So we have to move the furniture off the patio and off the back patio. Although he said, you know what? If it thunderstorms tonight, I wonder if they're still going to come out here and do that tomorrow. Probably. But he said they'll move any of the big furniture. So I said, like, the couch on our back patio, do we have to move that? Alex was like, come on, let's just move it. And I said, no, he said that they would move any big furniture. He goes, no, just leave the big furniture in place. But you have to take things off the walls. So, like, some people have... You know, I used to put this thing back here, you know, where like when I have the Believe thing at Christmas time, that's the kind of stuff you have to take off. I think, well, it's so windy today. If I put stuff out there right now, it'd probably blow away. But this table and this table, I'll put in the garage, plus the pillows. The candles I'll take inside, this I'll take inside. But everything else, like these two chairs, they can just like move down there tomorrow when they're power washing it. So they're going to power wash all of this and all of this, and then he said the painting, I said, so is the painting happening this week as well? And he said something about, no, they're doing the roofing first, and the roofing's happening in the next 2 weeks, and then the painting after that. I didn't really understand the time up of it, but it was really nice. He like called, he was like, I just want to let you guys know, and they're going to be out there early tomorrow. So depending on how loud it is, will have a lot to do with my filming, because I usually film the bedroom, and the window's right next to where I film. So if it's really loud, I won't be able to film tomorrow, but... Where am I going to do? I have to do my vlog from inside tomorrow. So yeah, so that's tomorrow. And then tomorrow night we're going to watch RuPaul's Drag Race and watch the finale of that. So excited about it. It's going to be a good weekend. And then Sunday, I am kind of excited that we're doing something for Easter now. I joke about it and I, you know, like act like I don't care about that kind of stuff. But I love getting together with family, especially like for holidays like Easter and stuff like that. When I was growing up as a kid, of Christmas and Easter were the two big holidays that, I mean, obviously for most families, I think they are, you know. But even more so than like Thanksgiving and stuff like that, were the two big holidays that I remember getting together with my aunt and uncle, my Aunt Kathy and Uncle Dave and Caroline. My mom's absolute favorite holiday in the entire world, like she loved Easter. She loved Christmas too, but like Easter she loved. And, you know, being very involved in church. This is the Columbre. I really like this one. It's the light. It's called something funny. Hold on a second. It's not like just the light blend. It's called something. Let me look it up. Columbre iced coffee. It's one of my favorites that I found. Iced coffee. Light. It comes in a yellow bottle. Here it is. No, that's not it. Is that it? Yeah, bright and mellow. Isn't that kind of funny? Bright and mellow. Mellow yellow. But that's the one I'm drinking today. So anyway, you know, my mom was very, very involved in church. And so she would go to all the services. Alex's mom goes to all the services. His aunt goes to all the services. His grandma does. You know, like Ash Wednesday. But they're Catholic. And so my mom, you know, went to a Lutheran church and whatever. But she would go to Ash Wednesday. Palm Sunday was probably one of her favorite services because like the kids from like Sunday school, and she was in charge of that a lot, would come down, you know, during the church service, and they would like have the palm fronds and they would sing Hosanna, Hosanna. My mom would always talk about that. I don't even remember that. I mean, I remember like one time seeing the kids come down and do it, but I don't really, I kind of have a vague memory of doing it. The wind just totally picked up. I kind of have a vague memory maybe of doing it, but it's probably more from my mom telling me. But my mom she loved that. And she loved Easter, and she went to all the services. Monday, Thursday, Ash Wednesday, Good Friday. She went to all of the services. So, and she loved Easter. She just, obviously because the Christian meaning behind Easter, like the birth of, you know, the return of Christ and things like that. But she loved what Easter represented, and she loved spring, and I was telling you guys, like, her favorite flowers were tulips and stuff. I think Easter time always reminds me kind of my mom. So, I actually almost put this bird feeder on this one little, like, limb that was, like, sticking out like this much, and I thought, well, it'll stay on there. Then I was like, no, because if a squirrel gets on it, it'll, like, because it's got this, like, metal cord on it. I was like, if a squirrel gets on it, it'll be like so heavy, it'll bring it down, and then you'll break it and whatever. So I didn't put it up there. It's on the ground right now. It's kind of sadly just sitting there on the ground. No birds have come up to it yet, but I will let you know when they do. But I'm glad I didn't put it on there because, yeah, because otherwise it would have probably blown in the wind. I mean, it's really getting windy outside. So I love Easter. I always say I'm going to watch, like for 4th of July, I always say I'm going to watch the Miss Firecracker contest with Holly Hunter. I usually forget. I always say I'm going to watch, somebody said it was on Tubi. I was talking about it in a review video the other day. I think it was yesterday when I did the Cadbury eggs, Cadbury cream eggs and the chocolate egg and the caramel egg. But I was talking about the Peter Cottontail. Here, I'll show you which one it is if it's on. Peter Cottontail. It's like my favorite. It's one of my favorite holiday movies, not just Easter movies. Cottontail. Let's just pull up Tubi and put in Tubi and here it is. Here Comes Peter Cottontail is what it's called. If you guys want to see it, I'll show you here's the poster for it. I love that so much with Iron Tail. Oh my god. I might watch that tonight or tomorrow. I haven't watched it in forever. So I am actually really excited that we're going over to his aunt's house for Easter. It'll be fun. It'll be really nice. Woo! A storm is brewing. I can't believe that my little bird feeder out there is just sitting there. It's not blowing over or anything out there. So that's Sunday, and then tomorrow, RuPaul's Drag Race tomorrow night, and we're gonna watch like a movie or something. He mentioned some movie he wants to see. And then, because oh my god, I forgot to tell you guys. So, because I haven't gone back and told you guys what we did last night. So, he was like making dinner and stuff, and I got done with everything, and he was like, are you gonna lay down or do you want to watch some shows? And I was like, no, I'm not gonna lay down yet. It was still early, kind of. I think it was like 7:30 or 8. I can't remember what time it was, but I was like, no, like I'm gonna, you know, let's watch some shows. And then I said, do we have anything to watch? He's like, we have nothing to watch. So Atlanta we already watched for this week. So the only shows we have as of this week were Atlanta, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and RuPaul. RuPaul ends tomorrow, and we were watching White Lotus, but White Lotus is over. RuPaul ends tonight. Beverly Hills ended on Tuesday, and Atlanta is still going. So I think the RuPaul's Drag Race, I saw something about it, I don't know if this is true or not. The All-Star season comes out in May. So Alex was like, what do you want to watch? Oh, The Valley just came out. And Alex binge watched The Valley, but he does not love it. And so I said to him, I said, do you want to watch The Valley? I said to him earlier, do you want to watch The Valley? And he goes, well, I'll probably just binge watch the whole thing. He goes, but if you want to watch it together, we can. And I said, I'm not like, I mean, some of the shit, like the Housewives and stuff, we have kind of like, you know, like it's an emotional attachment we have as a couple to RuPaul's Drag Race and those kind of things, right? But like with The Valley, I don't have that feeling at all. And so my neighbor's walking out to get the mail. And so I said to him, I said, no, I mean, I can watch it on my own, or we can watch it and binge watch it all together at the end. I mean, I like The Valley, but I'm not like that. I'm not like dying that it's out, if that makes sense. So anyway, so he was cooking something in the kitchen, and he was like, well, what do you want to watch? And he goes, do you want to watch The Valley? He asked me this time. And I said, well, I thought you said you didn't want to watch it. And he goes, we really don't have anything else to watch. Well, we haven't finished New Zealand Traitors yet. And so he said, the only thing we have to watch is Traitors. And I said, this was last night, and I texted Nikki, and I said, you're going to be so jealous. And so I said, New Zealand Traitors, like we're halfway through it. We've got to finish it at some point. And I said, New Zealand Traitors, and he goes, no, the UK, the new season of the UK one is out. I go, what? I said, is it all out? He goes, yeah, it's all out. So we started last night. It's 12 episodes, and we watched 2 episodes. We both got really, really tired towards the second episode of it, or towards the end of the second episode. But we watched the first 2 episodes of Traitors UK. I love the Traitors that doesn't have the famous people in it. It's a different game. They get very emotional about it, and I don't know, it's just, the Traitors is so much different when it doesn't have the reality stars in it. It's just a better show. And I forgot how much I love it. And the UK version is fantastic. The UK version is the best of all of them. And Claudia is the host, and she has this owl. She wears these red gloves. I love Claudia so much. So Nikki loves Alan Cumming, who is Alan Cummings coming? I don't know. Anyway, that hosts the US version. She thinks he's sexy. Nikki. Nikki, girl, no. So anyway, and Alex, like every time he walks out in one of his costumes, Alex just goes, no. That's a no. So Claudia wears really cute outfits, and Alex loves her outfits, and so he's like, see, this is how you dress on Traitors and stuff like that. And so she has this sweater. She wears like skirts and sweaters and tights and stuff. She dresses real cute. And so and their sweaters are always real long, like past her arms and stuff, just real cute. Dresses kind of like a lot of my friends dress. So anyway, so she had this long sweater on, and on the front of it, it was like autumn leaf colors and stuff like that. But on the back of it, it was like this like brown woven sweater. It was so cute. But on the back of it, it had like the outline of a skeleton. It was so cute. Oh, there's Tiger. Hey, Tiger. Hey, how are you? It's getting kind of windy outside, huh? Bye, Tiger. She was the sweetest dog. She was so cute. Anyway, people keep on, so when I post stuff on Instagram, I think people are confusion, okay? That they think that I am going to adopt these dogs. I put up a lot of rescue dog stuff on, so this is this dog named Benji, okay? And so I was posting this, I think it's in Texas or Arizona. Hold on a second, Texas, Waco, Texas. So somebody saw this guy, here I'll read it to you. A local dog shelter is getting this pup that, it went out, hold on, let me go over to the post. Okay. So this is Benji, okay? In a trash bag. They're showing him when he was brought in. Breaks my heart. There's Benji. Isn't he so sweet? So, it says on here, welcome, Benji. Many of you have already seen a story about a little dog who was thrown into a dumpster. He is safe with us. Store employees witnessed a man throw a large bag into the store's dumpster and drive off. Something made their spidey senses tingle, and they went to go look in the bag. Thank goodness they did, because they discovered a bloody terrier mix who was tied up in the trash bag. Thankfully, they called animal control and some local scanners for help. Initial reports were that he was shot in the belly, but after being sedated and shaved, it is clear he was attacked by a large dog and violently shaken, as indicated by the pockets of air under the skin. He is not neutered or having a microchip, and thankfully, the shelter determined that he would survive if he got immediate medical care. So here he is. Anyway, so the dog is doing fine now, well, doing better. Here he is now, after they've got him all rescued and stuff like, or figured out. He's doing much better. And I kept on posting the updates last night. Here he is doing now. And what it was, he's so sweet. What it was is that, so it wasn't his owner that dumped him. It was, like, the neighbor dog had attacked him. And so the owner of the dog that attacked him didn't know what to do with him. And so he put him in a trash can and put him in a dumpster. Because apparently his dog, like, assuming that maybe, like, they were going to have to put his dog down because his dog attacked this dog, right? So the owner is, like, letting them take care of him because he's like, this is what's best for him. Like, yes, please take care of him. So apparently, I read in there, the owner is not at fault. It's the neighbor that did this. And they, like, the man is being, I mean, they go in and they talk, if you want, I think it's called Mama Nutmeg, is the Instagram account. Here's Morty, the misfit. I love him so much. Mama.nutmeg is the account if you want to follow it and follow the story of Benji. And they have a lot of rescue dogs on there. So anyway, but every time I post, like, a rescue dog, it doesn't matter if it's in Sweden or New Jersey or Texas or wherever. And, you know, it got me thinking last night, in all honesty, it doesn't really matter where the dog is. If I post it, I will get, like, at least 10 direct messages on Instagram, and people will be like, oh my god, you picked a dog, or this is going to be the perfect dog for you, or thank god you're rescuing. Like, I'm just posting it to bring awareness to the story, or because I think it's a cute rescue animal, or I like their story, or something like that. Like, I found this new one last night. Let me show you. Hold on a second. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is this, oh wait, let me turn it down. So this is this baby, well, I don't have to turn it down, I guess. This is his baby goat. So the way I found out about this, and the account is called Goats of Anarchy, Changing the World One Goat at a Time. It's a nonprofit organization that rescues goats that are in bad situations. The way that I found out about it was because they have this goat, I don't even know where it is now, that wears this duck outfit. Did you guys see this? I mean, they have all these goats on here. It's so cute. But there was this goat. Where is it at? So it's a nonprofit rescue for goats. And, I mean, they have tons of goats on here. And they, like, have barns, and they take them out, because people were commenting and being like, why is this goat in this, like, duck outfit? Well, they were talking about how this goat was blind and had neurological issues. And so they have this kid's costume that's like this duck costume. And when the goat would wear the duck costume, that it would take his anxiety away and it would make him feel better. And people in the comments, because it was somebody else that had shared it, people in the comments were like, why are they putting this goat, like, in this kid's costume? Like, this is stupid. A goat needs to be in grass. And underneath the comments, people were saying, if you go read the website and you go read their Instagram account, what you'll see is there's like, this goat cannot walk. Like, some of these goats, they have, like, they can't walk on two of their legs. They have to be, like, in wheelchairs. And so, I mean, they're like a gentle rescue. And so, like, they rescued, and they found out that this goat had such horrific anxiety related to being blind and relating to having neurological issues, that if it had, like, comfort toys around it, or it was like, people were comparing it to a weighted blanket, that having this costume, it was like this rabbit costume, like, over its head and around it, and it was the sweetest thing. And people were, like, getting really upset in the comments about it. So I was like, I want to go over here and look. I have, like, a couple friends of mine that are, like, super, like, into animal rescues, and if they follow something, I'm like, okay, then it's safe to follow. And they followed them. Where is this at? I want to see. Why can't I find this? I'm going to show you guys this guy. He's so cute. Anyway, we're not anywhere close to rescuing a goat. Like, this is one of them. A stuffed teddy bear named Kevin has a very important role here at Goats of Anarchy. And they have this big stuffed animal. Why are people coming down on that? We don't got enough things to worry about in the world than a goat that wants to be leaning up on a teddy bear. So you can see here's almost 8 years ago we rescued this wobbly baby goat that's now like in this wheelchair. It's called Goats of Anarchy if you want to follow it. Where is the one? They have like, in a world where you can be anything, and they have cats together, and they have all this stuff together. Caroline just texted me something. What did Caroline just text me? Oh, she's in Chicago. I was like, why did she just text me that? Anyway, she's in Chicago for a girls' night. Where is the one? I wanted to find this and show it to you, because I can't find the original one of this goat. But anyway, we're not anywhere close to rescuing a dog or adopting a dog. So if you see me post dogs, it just means I think they're cute or I want to bring attention to them. Why can I not find this? This is going to upset me so much if I can't find it because I want to show it to you guys. Anyway, oh, look at that. Look at that. Makes me so happy. I can't tell you how many of you. She just said I'm in Chicago. I'm like, LOL, I know. Are you having fun? She sent me a... Okay, this is what Caroline sent me. She sent me a sign at the Gucci store. Okay. Sounds like she's probably having fun. Sounds like she had maybe a 3 mimosa brunch and is now doing some shopping is probably what she's doing. Why can't I find this one goat with the... Shoot. Oh my god, there's so many things on here I didn't even know. Where is it at? The goat with the... I wish there was a way that you could, like... Goats of Anarchy. You know what I'm going to do? Here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and look up the tags of it. I wouldn't waste the time doing this, but I don't really have tons to talk about, so my life is not that exciting. Ghosts of Anarchy. Can't you, like, look it up under tags? You'd think that I would know this stuff, right? Ghosts of... I can't even spell it, let alone look it up. Anarchy. Tags. Ghosts of Anarchy tags. Why isn't it pulling this up? Reels. Why can I... She said... Not that she called it a Broadway show and she's in Chicago. Okay, Caroline. She said I love... She just texted me and said I love Chicago. Little does she... Oh my god, look at these! Oh my god! Little does she know that she is... I cannot find this. Okay, Alex just texted me that he is leaving in 10 minutes. So I'm going to go inside and I'm going to go talk to Alex really quick and just talk to him until he leaves. And then I will be back in 2 and 2. And maybe in the meantime, while I'm laying on the bed talking to him while he's getting ready, I will be able to find the ghost video. Maybe I'll be able to find the goat video so that when I come back, I will have that for you guys. Okay, and it will be goats galore. So I'll be back in 2 and 2. Okay, I'm back. A lot has happened since I have been gone. Talked to Alex for a little bit, and then he left, and he's super cash, super cash. They had said something about doing pajamas, and he had, like, jogging sweats on, and, like, running shoes, and, like, some long t-shirt. So, anyway... And he was standing in the kitchen. He got ready, and then I was upstairs with him, and then he came downstairs, and I was like doing my video, and then he was standing in the kitchen. I went in the kitchen. He was like holding his stomach. I go, "What's wrong, babe?" And he goes, "I ate too much. That salad was too big." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." So anyway, so we caught up a little bit, and then he left, and then I started uploading my Peter Does Stuff video, which is where I showed myself putting. Do you guys hear how windy it is? Let me just show you. It is like. Do you guys see these trees? It is like storm is coming in Indianapolis. It is starting to rain a little bit. I can feel it sitting out here. But anyway, so I went out and I moved. Here's my bird feeder that I'm going to move into the garage because I don't have it on a tree yet. And I don't want it like clashing up if I did hang it on a tree against like the branches and then break. And I don't just want it on the ground. So I'm going to put this in the garage until I can figure out how to hang it. Which probably would have been smart to do first and then put the bird feeder up. I know, I do everything backwards. But anyway, so then I started, I was like uploading my Peter Does Stuff video, which was feeding the birds. And then Caroline was texting me from Chicago. And this is what she said, for those of you guys that want to, oh, she just sent me a picture. She went and saw, her friend, don't care. So anyway, this is her and her friend. They went and saw Moulin Rouge last night. She said she went and saw a Broadway show. In Chicago, a Broadway show. I said, I know, are you having fun? She goes, yes, Broadway show last night, good brunch today, and did a bus tour, now going to dinner with her kids. And I said, and she said, I love Chicago. And I said, oh, I said, oh, fun. And then she sent me this picture. Aww, miss you, I'm gonna say. Happy Easter. I'm gonna hide. We would never call them the special eggs, we just call them the specials. Because my Aunt Kathy would go, I have some specials out there for you. And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna hide some specials for you. For you with a $20 bill. That was low. My Aunt Kathy, sometimes she put real, I mean, $20 was nice, but she, I mean, that was when we were older. She sometimes put 50s and 100s out there. I was like, oh my God, let's do the Easter egg hunt. Caroline and I were like 30. I mean, I look back on that and it was so fun. But anyway, oh my God, my goat. I found the goat. I found the goat when I was talking to Alex. Okay, there's tons of articles written about her. Her name's Polly, okay? All these people are coming for it and they're like, because they got her shopping in the store, and they're like, well, maybe not take her to Target. Maybe not put her in a shopping cart. Maybe not take her here and all this kind of stuff. So here is Polly. Here she is in her nut costume. How could you not like her? How could you be so mean to Polly? Look at Polly. Oh, wait. There's an ad. Hold on. Look at Polly. She is so sweet. Oh, my God. Look at that little girl. Hi, honey. If my mom were alive today, she would want to know about the Instagram for all the rescue animals. Like my mom, you know, like when my mom was still alive, it's so weird. Like when, like I was thinking, oh, I talked on here not long ago. Somebody said something about Justin Bieber and what year, like he got famous, and I was like, that is so weird that Justin Bieber got famous. I mean, I don't think of things in that context, you know, that like my mom passed away 17 years ago next month. You know, like, I haven't worked in treatment 17, I mean, it's been over 17 years now, you know? I've been sober for 30 years. My husband and I have been together for, it'll be 17 years in August. I mean, that's a long period of time, you know? And so, I was talking about Justin Bieber in a video or something, and they said something about, like his first song or something was 2012. I don't even know when it was. But anyway, I, like, looked it up, and I was like, that is so weird that my mom wasn't even alive to, like, I mean, not that she would care. But then, it was like Lady Gaga, too. It was like Lady Gaga, like, got famous, like, after. Like, my mom never even knew who Lady Gaga was. My mom would have loved Lady Gaga. She would have, oh my God, my mom would have loved her, what she stood for. She would have loved her creativity, her ingenuity. My mom would have loved Lady Gaga. And it's just so weird to think, you know, that, like, I don't know, because like I've said on here before, grief is so weird, you know. Ooh, I just felt rain. Their flag is like, whoo, like that in the wind. It's so weird, you know, like grief. Like, it does feel like my mom's been gone for a long time. I don't know that it feels like she's been gone almost 20 years. I mean, 20 years. The thing is, like, I remember my mom saying this. It's like you wake up one day and you're like in your 50s and you're like, where did all the time go? You know, I definitely don't feel like 20, even 30 feels like so far away from me now. 20 feels, I mean, my 20s feel like, I mean, so far away. You know, even like my first years of getting sober, some things I don't remember as well as I used to. People that I knew, like my first boyfriend sober, we dated for 4.5, 5 years. Like he was a big part of my early sobriety, you know, and I mean, I remember things about him. We took a lot of trips with my dad and my stepmom. I remember a lot about him. I mean, I still see him on social media and stuff like that, obviously. interestingly enough, he is, well, they're married now. He is also married to, he lives in South Florida. He is married to somebody that, so he knew Alex before I met Alex. Alex and I were talking about like our exes, like I think it was like our first or second date. And I told him that, first of all, I don't really know how to, it doesn't mean anything. Like, we're just complete polar opposites. So after my first boyfriend sober, he became a DJ, like a pretty popular DJ. And so that's what like he's known for and people know him. Anyway, and so I've never said his name on video or anything like that. But anyway, I don't think like, it's not somebody like that you guys, it's not like David Guetta or it's not like that level. But I mean, you know, famous DJ. Anyway, and so Alex had like worked with him because they both like worked at the same club like back in the day. And when I brought up, oh, Caroline is on this text. She never texts me like this. They're probably back at their hotel room being so, like, just laying around until they're going to dinner or something like that tonight. I can feel like little sprinkles. But anyway, so I can remember Alex and I talking about it, and he's like, you dated who? And I told him, and he was like, for how long? And I said, like 4.5, 5 years. It was before he was even a DJ. It was like when he wanted to be like a DJ. I can remember him like doing mixtapes and stuff like that, like in our apartment. Like, I mean, we lived together. He would make mixtapes, and he had a whole other DJ name. And so anyway, I mean, it was just kind of like a dream of his at the time. He was like, you dated him. And I was like, yeah, we lived together for 4.5 years. He was like, my dad and my stepmom used to go on trips together. We went to Grand Cayman. We went to Cancun, Cabo. I mean, we used to travel together a lot. And I mean, he knew my Aunt Kathy and Uncle Dave, and Caroline knew him. I mean, Caroline's friends with him. And so it was really weird, like that. Anyway, so he is married to somebody now that is Venezuelan as well. Is that not so strange? I just think it's such a small world. But anyway, like even dating him, like that was such a significant part of my life and such a significant part of my sobriety. Like I remember him coming to my mom's funeral. My mom adored him. He was very quiet. So each of my like boyfriends, now husband, are so completely different. My mom loved he and my ex both. But they were so different. My ex was very talkative. She loved to talk to him. Hairstylist, did her hair. I mean, she just loved everything about him. But my first ex, my mom loved too, but he was very quiet. And did not like fighting and stuff like that. When like my mom and my aunt would get into it, he would just leave. Then he would come to like all of our holiday stuff and whatever. But you know, it's weird. I remember when he came to my mom's funeral, and I mean, at that point, so we started dating in 95. So we would have broken up in, I don't know, 99, 98, 99, I think. 2000. I mean, at that point, it had been 8 years. I mean, I would see him out and stuff like that, you know. It was so interesting what he said to me one time. So, we broke up. He broke up with me. We broke up. He wanted to go and do, like, parties and circuit parties and DJ and all that kind of stuff. And that was not the life that I wanted at that time. And so he just was like, this is what I want. And so we always have been really civil to each other, but both exes I'm very civil with. I don't think there's a reason not to be unless that person's been abusive or nasty to you. I don't want to know everything about their life, but, you know, we can be civil to each other. So anyway, I also would say this. I don't think at the time of the breakup, like, if we lived in today, the world, like, both breakups, like, was kind of like, when my ex and I broke up, I didn't even get on MySpace until, like, after we broke up. Like, social media wasn't a thing. I mean, now, I'm friends with both of them on Facebook and, you know, Instagram and stuff like that. Well, no, Facebook. But anyway, if it were back then, even though I wasn't, like, bitter, I mean, I'm not a big believer that I think it matters who breaks up with who anyway, but, I mean, I broke up with my ex. My boyfriend broke up with me the first time, or the first boyfriend. But I don't think it really matters. I think in both situations, we both knew that it wasn't working. And I've talked about that before. But, what was I going to say about him? What was I going to say about him? Oh, now I have to go down that rabbit hole again. It's been so long. Okay, anyway, when he came to my mom's funeral, it was weird. Oh, this is what I was going to say about social media. Like, when my girlfriends, like, they break up with somebody, even if they dated them for 6 weeks or 6 years, I'm like, you need to not be friends with them on, like, any social media anymore. Like, you need to, like, disconnect. And they're like, no, but, like, I need to be friends with, I need to see their family. I'm like, unless you have kids together and whatever, like, that part of your life is over if you're going to stay broken up. And I really think that one of the reasons why we do that sometimes is because we still think it's going to be able to be worked out. If you were really honest with yourself, you either want to see what their life is like going forward, or... And then it just hurts more. It's like what Tanya calls dialing up pain. Who is texting me? Somebody else is texting me now. Oh, Caroline again. It's what Tanya calls it, dialing up pain. Okay, when you want to look and see what your ex is doing, who they're dating, how much fun they're having, that's called dialing up pain, right? I think if I lived in that social media world, if I had the sense about me that I do today, I wouldn't continue to follow that person, at least for a while, you know? I mean, it was years until when, I mean, like, the relationships for both have been over when I was, like, friends with them on social media, you know what I mean? But anyway, and I think, and I've talked about this a lot, you know, I think the one kind of grief we don't really talk a lot about, like, we talk about breakups, we talk about the pain of it, but we don't really talk about the significance of the grief aspect of breaking up with somebody. Even if it's a friendship breakup, like, you're not, like, that person and you are not friends anymore, which I've had happen to me in my life, you know, from all different kinds of ways of happening, but I think romantic relationships even more. One of the things that's so hard is that that person continues to go on and live a life, and you know they're out there. Like, I mean, it's hard when somebody passes away, but you know that it's finite. Like, you know what I mean? But when it's a person that you loved, it's a completely different kind of grief. You can't really compare them, I guess, but it's so hard because you know, like, and then today, like, you know they're living their best life, if you think they are, and then on social media, and then, I mean, back in the day, I've talked about this before, when I went into treatment, I was dating that guy, I was calling everybody up on the phone, what's he doing, we'd already broken up before I even went to treatment, you know, and it was so hard to know I was in treatment, and this guy that had been a huge part of my story, starting to use cocaine and all this kind of stuff, he was out there living his best, he was not worried about me. It was so hard, and we had dated 6 months. I mean, it was not like I did not think I was going to marry the man. It was nothing like that. And I was, like, obsessively, like, in love with him. I mean, it was like an addiction kind of thing. But I think it's so hard to have all that hurt and that pain and then be able to look on social media and see what they're doing, you know? I think it's so hard. But anyway, I do remember seeing him at my mom's funeral. I can remember what he had on and everything because my mom passed in May. And he had on, like, this, like, tweed sport coat and, like, jeans and, like, this white button-down collared shirt. And he was real cute. My mom always thought he was real cute. Although one time she was like, oh my God, she always said, I never can figure out, and my mom loved this movie, but she said, I can never figure out who you look like. And this one time, she was like, she looked at him, we had just gone to see Boys Don't Cry with Hilary Swank, and she goes, you look just like Boys Don't Cry and Hilary Swank. Or you look just like Hilary Swank and Boys Don't Cry. But anyway, he was real cute. But I remember he showed up and he had this tweed sport coat on. And I said something to him, I go, aren't you a little hot in a tweed sport coat? He had just come from, like, the racetrack or something. He was DJing at the racetrack. And I said, aren't you kind of hot in that tweed jacket? And you know what he said to me? He said, I knew that, he goes, your mom always loved tweed. She did. She loved tweed suits. She loved to wear, like, tweed suits in the fall. He goes, I know that your mom she loved a crisp white shirt. He goes, I know your mom liked a white button-down with a tweed jacket. And she did. I thought that was so neat, you know, that somebody would remember something like that about my mom. It's those small things, you know. You know, I look back on my life and I think, man, before I got sober, I dated some real assholes. I just straight up, I dated some real assholes. And I'm sure I was an asshole too. I'm sure I was straight up an asshole. But my 2 exes were fantastic guys. They were absolutely fantastic guys. I mean, some of the guys that I dated back in the day, like, I mean, what, 3 weeks, you call that dating? I don't know, today I wouldn't. But back then when I was, you know, going out to the bars and all that kind of stuff, some of the guys were good. Some of the guys were nice, you know. I remember this one guy, I don't know why this has stuck with me all these years. I think I've told this story on here before. So, this one guy that I dated, well, no, this one guy that I was interested in, I remember his name and everything like it was yesterday, and I was like, probably 20 at the time, 21. I was probably 20 at the time. And so, when I came out, I made this really good friend, and he was probably 15 years older than me. Always, like, never tried anything with me. Always had my back. Always, like, gave me good advice. I was so grateful for that as, like, a young gay guy coming out, and he knew everybody. He introduced me to everybody. Really nice guy. Well, I had this guy that I had a crush on, and he was probably, at the time, if I was 20, he was probably 25 or 26. I kind of can see him. Like, really, he was kind of like, I wouldn't say he was like super, like today, super built. There was really nobody back when I was going out. But he was stocky and he was built. And I remember he always wore like jeans and like a polo shirt tucked in, or jeans and like a button-down collared shirt. And I remember he had really like thick, like dark hair, like wiry, short, dark hair, and always kind of like 5 o'clock shadow. He was so handsome. And I had such a crush on him. Well, my friend like told him, and he was like, oh, I like Peter too. And so he had called me, and we had scheduled a date, and the date was supposed to be for like that Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't even remember, it was sometime that next week, and it was like a Saturday night, and it was like a Friday or Saturday night, and God, this was so long ago, I mean over 30 years ago, and I remember, I can see him at the bar, like as I'm talking about it, I can see him like, and he's standing there, he's talking to all these people, he's real like animated, real gregarious guy, super good looking, and I remember, like, I was standing at the bar, and he came up, and I love, like, one of my things, Alex does it all the time, one of my things is when guys wink at me. I think it's so hot. And I remember he, like, leaned up next to me, and he kind of, like, winked at me, and he goes, I'm real excited about our date this week, or something like that. And I can't remember how it went, but he said, he winked, and he said something to me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited about going on this date. You know, back then, before I got sober, I thought, I'm gonna meet somebody, and they're gonna change me. Like, me being in love with that person is gonna change me. If you're an addict or an alcoholic, trust me, you've been in those situations before where you go, if I just meet the right person, I won't want to use like this anymore. Like, I won't want to, you know, like, because you know it's a problem. So you're like, I just need to meet the right person. And he had his shit together. I think he was like an executive in finance or something. He just had his shit together. And he was a really nice guy. Everybody liked him. And he wasn't like a drug user. He wasn't like a heavy drinker or anything like that. And I remember like that next day, my friend called me, because my friend knew him really well, that kind of had hooked us up, and he had passed away. Like, he went home, and it was something so weird. It was like, it was something, he was allergic to something, because I can remember at the time, because like overdoses were happening a lot, and people speculated, but he didn't use anything like that at all. And it was some weird allergic reaction, and he had died in his sleep. It was the strangest thing. And I remember that, like, I just was like, I don't know, it just like rattled me, because I didn't know him that well, you know. I just knew that we had a date, and I had this crush on this guy, and then he died. I was actually telling Nikki the other day about my, I told the story before about my ex, that Todd. I think it's important that I say his name when I talk about him, because, and I was telling Nikki the whole story the other day. If you guys haven't heard this story before, if you have, it's probably going to bore you, but, so I dated this guy. He was my... Make sure I get this right. So when I got out of treatment, I started dating somebody right away. I've talked about that story before. And he was an attorney. He lived in Champaign. He ended up moving to Chicago. He lives in Chicago now. He's married. They are a great looking couple. He's got an incredible job, great, like, Lakeview penthouse apartment, all that. I don't. So anyway, it's like my cousin, her high school boyfriend that she dated all through high school. Caroline's really good friends with his wife. They live out of state somewhere. Caroline's not like friends with him on Facebook, and Caroline loves Mike, right? But he's like this super huge physician now. Like, nobody would have known it at the time. He was like, played football in high school, but he was real smart. He taught me how to tie a tie for my grandma's funeral. But anyway, that's what I always remember about him. I remember his first and last name, his family, and everything like that. So anyway, but every once in a while I'll ask Caroline about him, because she's friends with his wife and like friends with her on Facebook and stuff like that. And she's like, Peter, they live the most magnificent life, and he's such a nice guy. And she's like, we were in high school. I didn't think, you know. And she's like, I mean, I love Mike. She's like, but I look at their house, and I'm like, Caroline, you have a gorgeous house. She's like, I know, I love my life. She's like, but sometimes don't you ever wonder? So anyway, the second guy that I dated was this guy named Todd. And Todd I actually met in a film class that I took when I went back to school. So it would have been late spring. I got sober December 17th, 1994. It would have been late spring of 95, before my mom got sober, was when I went back to school. To just take a few classes. I wasn't like full-time back in school yet. Maybe it was summer one. I can't remember. Like the summer one. Because, you know, like in college, they had like summer one and summer two. It was like summer one. So it was like a 6-week class. And it was like this intro to film class, because I ended up minoring in film, because I had like enough credits I had to like So they were like, if you take 2 more classes, you can get a minor in film. So I ended up starting with like a minor in like this intro in film class, and he was in that class. Remember, the first time I saw him, he had on this like, I knew later it was Old Navy, but like this long sleeve, like cotton polo that was like green and white stripes, and he had real curly dark hair and just the most amazing eyes, and he had his eyebrow pierced, and he was like 4 inches taller than me. And so my first boyfriend was really, like, he was a lot shorter than me. I'm like 5'10", I'm like 5'10 and a half. My first boyfriend, after I got sober, he was, well, my first long-term boyfriend after I got sober, he was like 5'6", 5'5", so he was a lot shorter than me. My ex, he and I are like exactly the same height. And then Alex is like almost 6'1", and I'm 5'10 and a half, so he's a lot taller than me. But this guy that I dated, Todd, I've never fallen that fast, that quickly. And I remember he would come over to my apartment. So we started talking. The way we started talking was in this film class. It was like during breaks, and we'd go outside and smoke cigarettes. And we were out there talking one time, and like it was like 5 of us, and everybody else had left to go back to class, and it was just the 2 of us out there. We like smoked 1 more cigarette or something. And he was like, ask me about these movies. And he like, they were all like, have you ever seen like Jeffrey or something, like I think is the movie. And I was like, yeah, he was asking like all these gay movies, and I looked at him, and I'm usually not this confident, like I'm never like would say this, you know, I'd just be like, oh yeah, they're good movies, and I walk inside, whatever. And I remember I looked at him and I said, are you trying to tell me something? And he goes, what? He got real embarrassed, and I said, it's okay. And he was like, yeah, I'm gay. And like he wasn't like fully out at that time, which I'd always said I was never going to date anybody that was like not fully out, because I'd done that before and it was a mess. But anyway, we started dating, and it didn't last long. It lasted like 6 or 7 weeks. He was in a band with his brother, and he wrote a song for me called St. Peter, which I still have written in his handwriting downstairs. He wrote it on this like parchment paper for me. Not that I'm a saint. That's not what I'm saying. It's just what the song was called. The band was very much like, I'm trying to think of what they sounded like back in the day, like the Gin Blossoms kind of deal, you know. He was the bass player. He was fantastic. Anyway, I remember he wore those Simple. Do you remember that brand Simple shoes? And he would come over, and we would just like light candles and listen to music forever. And yeah, I just felt deep. And but he was going, so IUPUI at that time was like the city school. It was like IU Purdue at Indianapolis. And so he had decided that he was going to go 1 semester and then transfer to IU Bloomington. And I'll never forget, he called me up and he said, he's like, yeah, I want to go down there and I want to like experience it and I want to date other people. And he's like, he was like, I love being with you. If I was staying up here, you know, then it would like, you'd be who I want to be with. But he was like, I don't want to make you wait and whatever. And I totally understood it. He was real honest with me, you know, and I was like, no, I want you to go down there and have the full experience. So he went down to Bloomington, and we both got our degrees in English, and we kept in contact, you know, when we talked. There's a lot more to this story, a lot behind the scenes that I'm not sharing in here. Drugs were kind of always a problem for him, and it started off smoking pot, and then it just kind of like led to one thing after another after another. And I was very aware of that, and it was never around me, but I was aware of it. But you know, through the years, we would run into each other, and it was like every time that we ran into each other, it was always at the most random places. Like I remember like this thrift store in Indianapolis, which I think is called Thrifty World now, but it was called Thrifty Threads or something back in the day. And I was there with my first boyfriend, sober, and he was there with like 2 girlfriends, and we like ran into each other like between like the Argyle sweaters. I mean, we both just looked at each other like I was like still so in love with him, and he was still so in love with me. And he was single, and I had this boyfriend. I introduced him to my boyfriend and everything, and I've always been real open about this stuff, so like my boyfriend knew about him and everything like that. And I remember like we talked for a second, and I just was like, it's timing, you know? And then my ex and I broke up, and then he and I were talking. We ran into each other somewhere else. He was home for vacation, a holiday. I think it was like Christmas or something a couple years later. And then he had met this guy, and they were living in San Francisco. And he was like, no, I'm in love with him, and you know, we have a cat together. And he's like, and you'll always be the love of my life, but like I've committed myself to him. And that happened, I can't even tell you how many times. I mean, maybe 10 times. through the course of our lives where we would meet at the, it was like a movie. It was literally like a movie or a book where we would meet at the most random times. And so, anyway, all this stuff happened. It's a long story. I should write the story sometime. I actually was thinking about this, okay? I've been like, I really want to write this summer. I was, you know, Caroline and I really want to look into this stuff with our grandma, but it's like almost, I've actually done quite a bit of work on it. Every place that we come to, like her Department of Correction records are locked and sealed because they have moved, they have closed down. I thought the prison that she was in was actually the prison that still exists. The woman, it's off of Girls School Road, but it's not. It's an old prison that she was at. That's by Woodruff Place. And so the records that were there, they now like are locked and sealed, and you have to like petition them through a court. It's real difficult. Oh my God! It is. Look, it just got. So it's gonna like start pouring down rain over there. Can you guys see in the distance how great it is? And then the Division of Family Child Services or whatever to petition for like foster care and things like that. It's so difficult to get all that stuff now, and you have to show your executor of the estate, which I am, but Caroline isn't necessarily with her. Anyway, it's very difficult to find all this stuff out. Like, I have the paperwork for some of it. She has the paperwork for some of it. I don't have the paperwork for some of it. She doesn't have the paperwork. It's just very difficult. So the other night I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And I thought, you know, maybe I will write a book about, oh my God, going back and forth between like now and then of like, it would be like fictional about like my mom and my aunt's relationship. Do you see how dark it just got? My mom and her relationship. It would be fictional, but it's based on this. And then going back in time to like fictionalizing why my grandmother would have done what she did and like all this kind of stuff. You know, imagine like this woman and like having an affair and like, you know, doing this and going to prison and trying to take care of her girls at the same time. It'd be kind of like this mystery thriller of these women trying to, you know, find it out in retrospect. I thought about maybe doing that. My aunt always wanted me to write a book. And I think it's weird because we never talked about it. Like when she would mention it to me, it was only later after I found out that my mom died. But anyway, so I was telling, so years ago, when it's 12 or 13 years ago, when I started going back to meetings, I hung out with this woman, and she and I became really, really good friends. She had a year sober when I first met her, and we hung out for like 2 years until she got a different job and stuff. And at that time, she was going through a divorce. She had two really young kids. Yeah, her daughter's in college now, and her son's like late in high school, so God, it's been that long. Yeah, it's been that long. And her kids were really young. And so every other weekend, her ex-husband would have the kids. So she and I would hang out. We would go to a meeting, and then we would go eat somewhere, and then we would go back to her house. And we put on like the Smiths or something, and we would just listen to music and talk and drink coffee for hours. Well, one day I was telling her about, we were talking about lost loves and stuff like that, and I was telling her about Todd. And so I looked on his Facebook page. I said, well, let me show you a picture of him. So I actually sent these, because Nikki was asking what he looked like the other night, so I've got screenshots, look. I've got screenshots of Amanda from 1,000 Pound Sisters I'm sending to people. Okay. Oh, wait. So this is Todd. Todd suffered a lot and had a lot of things, and but was one of the most kindest, gentlest souls I had ever met in my entire life. Absolutely one of the kindest people I'd ever met in my entire life. So I'm trying to show my friend this stuff, and I go to his Facebook page, and there's all these things like, I'll miss you, and they were like 2 years old. Well, I found out that he had passed away like 2 years before that. And I reached out to one of his friends that I knew, like, when I had dated him, like, all these years before, that was on there, and she reached back out to me. She was like, Todd talked about you all the time. And she was like, she told me, like, how he passed and things like that. I'd known that his husband had passed before. And so she was telling me all about what had happened, and they lived in San Francisco. He was writing, like, the camera stopped. This is so strange, but, so, you know what he did for a living? Well, he played in bands for his entire life. He's a fantastic musician. But he was like a major writer for video game reviews. Is that not so funny? Like, I do not have any interest in video games whatsoever. And this guy that, like, I loved so deeply was like, he got his master's degree in writing. He, like, got his MFA in writing. And then he went and wrote for, like, major magazines, like, video game reviews. I think that's so interesting. But anyway, so, in talking to his friend, I found out that his parents that were severely homophobic. When I dated him, and up till his death, really wouldn't acknowledge his being gay. Wouldn't acknowledge anything about him. I mean, this is so sad. You know, like this, when you talk about like all the things that form you into your belief system and whatever, I think this is one of the things that has really affected me. Like, I found out that they never put an obituary out. They had no funeral for him. They didn't put any notice out anywhere that he had passed away. It just was really, really sad. He was a great guy. Interestingly enough, I came home that night and I was trying to tell Alex about it. And I was like, this guy, and I said, this guy that I thought that I would be with, oh, you know, and he said, well, you can still be with him if you want. I said, no, I can't because he's dead. And at that point, I knew we were never going to be together. By the time I got with Alex, I knew I was never going to be with Todd. We had lots of conversation. Todd and I had lots of conversation. We were just so different at that point. But Alex felt so bad. He was like, what are you talking about? I was like, ah. You know. Interesting. How did I get into all that? I don't even know. So anyway, Easter. Happy Easter weekend. Okay, so last night, Alex and I watched the first 2 episodes of Traitors UK. Talked about that already. Then I laid down and I took a nap. Alex actually laid in bed and watched TikToks, and then he went to bed at some point. And then I got up. Oh my God. So when I woke up from my nap last night, I felt like really, like the anxiety really strongly. And then I was like, no, you're going to get up because you want to read, you want to do stuff. So I kind of forced myself to get up. I actually like came out here, got a glass of water. I did my prayers and meditations to just really try to center myself, and it really helped. I did some breathing exercises and stuff. It really seemed to help. So after that, I listened to more of this audiobook. I listened to like 40 minutes of it. I am loving this audiobook. So it's called, if you didn't hear my vlog yesterday, I talked about it yesterday, but it's called All the Missing Pieces by Catherine Cowles. I told Nikki about it, and she knew. She's like, oh, that's I read her the synopsis, and she was like, that's totally romance. And I told Tanya about it. Tanya knew who she was. Tanya's like, she's like a famous romance writer. Don't you know about her? I go, no. She goes, she has the series. I go, yes, somebody told me about it. She goes, you don't know that because Tanya reads romances. So I was like, I've never heard of her before. She goes, well, do you like it? I was like, have I told you a book that you care? And Tanya was like, I didn't know she had a new book out. So anyway, I like it though. It's kind of cheesy, but kind of cute. I mean, it's van life. It's true crime podcast. She's fallen in love with the sheriff, cats, dogs. It's, what would you not like about that? So lit all my candles, all that kind of stuff. Do you guys remember when I did the wax melt opening of the unboxing? If you guys watched it, where I ordered all of them off of Etsy, there was one that I got that it was like harvest apple, and it came in a bag, and it was like a square, it looked like a chocolate bar. And I said it stank so bad. Do you guys remember that? I melted that last night, and it smelled so good. And now, I do not know, because it's just in this paper bag. I do not know what the brand is. I'm going to have to go back in and look at my Etsy orders and see, because I loved it. It smelled so good last night. So anyway, with that, and then I read 3 chapters of the Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and then I read a little bit more of, anyway, I read last night, and then after that, I was like, you gotta watch, what do you call it? Survivor and Amazing Race. So I watched Survivor and Amazing Race. Can somebody explain this to me? I saw a lot of stuff online that people really do not like Eva on Survivor. If you don't know who Eva is, Eva is the girl that has autism on Survivor, and people are real over her. Apparently, it all stems from they feel like she'll do anything to get the women off the show or vote the women off the show. I don't really understand it. I tried to read some articles about it and stuff, but there really weren't that many. I just saw people online, like on Facebook and stuff, talking about, like, get her off the show, can't stand her. Apparently, she doesn't ever side with women or something, and she's working with all the men on the show. But I had seen something come up about it, and so I thought it was about, and the post I saw was on Facebook. It was just like, get Eva off the show now. So I thought she did something this episode. She didn't do anything. She was completely, I mean, she didn't do anything on the show. That was, I thought was real negative. I like her. Do I think that she always sides with the guys and voting women off? Yeah, I think she does. But anyway, I watched that, and then I watched Amazing Race. Girl, I'm so bored. Girl, I'm so bored with Amazing Race this season. I was like watching it. I was like, I hardly ever scroll through shows. But I did last night on a couple different shows. That and The Last of Us, which we'll get to. And so I'm scrolling through as I'm watching Amazing Race. And I'm like, why am I even watching this if I'm so bored? Like, you don't remember who even was on the previous seasons. Like, if you're not going to pay attention. So then I was like, okay, pay attention. I do like it. I will tell you, this week, I felt like it was a complete cheat, okay? Because these guys that got completely lost, I don't know that, I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But anyway, the people that ended up leaving the show, that got like eliminated from the show, they should never have got eliminated from the show. There was a double U-turn, and nobody did this double U-turn, and then the people that did, they felt real bad about it, but they didn't really know what was going on. It was very confusing. I felt so bad for the people that got kicked off. To be honest with you, there's not really anybody that I don't like that's left. What I don't like is Jonathan and Anna, that are the couple that they always come in like first or second. Well, this week, the couple that came in first are my favorites. But anyway, Jonathan and Anna, like, I like her a lot. He speaks so poorly to his wife. Like, they did this thing where it was called, like, needle in a haystack, and they had to find this, like, literally they had to find this bracelet in these 3 haystacks that were, like, 10 feet high. And he got so frustrated with it, and he kept on saying, he's like, you really effed up on this choice. Like, it wasn't like, it was a joint decision. I mean, he said, which one should we, it was like, you know, if you watch Amazing Race, they have like between 2 tasks they have to pick. They mutually picked it, she said, and he agreed, and then he blamed it on her the whole time. I don't like how he talks to her at all. And I am not somebody that, and not just with men and women, but with spouses, I cannot deal with the condescending, patronizing tone. And if I'm with somebody and they do that to somebody that I love, I either walk away or I have to say something. I can't, it's so cringy for me to watch that. So anyway, I watched Survivor and I watched Amazing Race, and I knew I wanted to watch The Last of Us because people had asked me to react to it. So I wanted to watch the first episode. But I was watching those on Paramount, and so, you know, like on your streaming services, it'll say like your next online or your list or whatever. It came up Ghost, and I was like, oh, I have another episode of Ghost. So I got caught up on Ghost, and then I watched The Last of Us. Go watch my reaction to it. I was bored. I was so excited for The Last of Us Season 2. I know when I say that, people will be like, it's because you didn't play the video game. Well, I don't think that a show should be contingent on just whether or not you played the video game. I love the movie Clue, and I think people would love the movie Clue whether they had ever played the game Clue, okay? I read a lot of books that the movies are fantastic whether you read the book or not, and I don't think that that's contingent. I think that's kind of like people want to say, well, you don't really understand it unless you play the video game. Well, then, I think a lot of people haven't played the video game and understand The Last of Us. All I'm saying is that first episode of Season 2 was a bore. I was bored with it. So I finished that, and then I was awake, but it was after 6, and I was like, go to bed. So I went to bed. But it was a good night last night. I was so relaxed. But when I was reading, I was like, oh, I read a lot of The Life as We Know It book 4, because I'm like, I want to get more of this. I got to get this book done this weekend so I can read other stuff. Because I really want to get into Kayla Stone, the Edge of Collapse series. I'm going to start Rotten Ruin. Somebody recommended this book to me that's about a zombie apocalypse, and it's about this kid that has autism in it. Do you guys know what I'm talking? One of you recommended it to me because I bought the book. It finally came. And so I bought the book, and I just bought book 1 because I was like, I want to see it, but it's sitting on the counter. And I was like, okay, like I might start, there's so many books I want to start. I got to get my books ready for summer. I might do that tonight because I can pull the chair back and turn on the lights and stuff like that because Alex won't be asleep upstairs. But anyway, I really want to read tonight and do that. So gonna eat a little dinner and listen to my audiobook, and I'm like looking out there like, and you should take a walk, because I keep on saying I'm gonna get back into my walking, right, which I am, but it looks like it's gonna thunderstorm, so I think no walk tonight. But anyway, it's gonna be a great night. Tomorrow's gonna be a really relaxed, chill day as well. Depending on what they do out here, I will film, or I don't know, we'll see. The battery's flashing at me, so I gotta go. I hope you guys are having a magically amazing Friday and a fantastic beginning to your weekend. I love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I had so much fun telling all these stories. I always do, and I love you guys so much. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.